that the two prior speakers were talking about, because you have to know the rules and the processes. You have to know what to do and what not to do. And the Office of Intellectual Property here at UCLA can help you do that quite effectively. And you need to develop and exercise and work out your innovative perspective on problems. And that can be pretty simple. It's asking yourself, when you're faced with a problem, not, well, how am I going to get around this to get through my day? But what's the fundamental essence of the problem here, and what would the perfect solution be? And what is a practical route to getting to some solution that approaches that perfect solution? So I'll talk a little bit about the exercise that I went through with a couple of colleagues, Val Nenoff in the Department of Neurosurgery and Farzad Buxi, an engineer in neurosurgery. We recognized that in order to make intelligent clinical decisions, you had to process a lot of information. And that information comes at you from multiple software products, monitors, and other sources. And the process of aggregating that is a mental one normally. You have to go to several information sources, acknowledge what information is delivered, and assemble it into a unified picture in your brain. And we took a simple step. We assembled all that information on a computer screen. So our background, our experience was about 14 years of R&D focused on NIH-funded trauma research and stroke research. Our team, primarily Drs. Nenoff and Buxi, developed an innovative software product to do some of these things and deliver information remotely through the internet. The only problem with that development was it was 10 years ahead of its time. And then identifying the specific problem that we were going to attack, and then address that with a lot of hard work over a lot of years. And just like Dwight Eisenhower said about planning for battle, plans are useless. The planning process is essential and invaluable. And so what we thought we were going to develop is not exactly what we developed. We thought we were going to develop a system that could be rented to patients' families so that they could get updates on handheld computers like Palm computers about their loved one's condition. And what we ended up with, and here's some of the screens that we were thinking about including, and we actually got our entire institutional PAC system displayed on Palm pilots. But what we ended up with then was a dashboard, a clinical dashboard that actually took those individual Palm-sized, Palm computer-sized windows and assembled them into a mosaic of comprehensive information that gave you at a single glance all the key information on a specific patient. And this mosaic of information could be assembled and saved by the individual user, so you could get to that holy grail of information display, a tailored user interface, perfect for what you need to know, perfect for the patient's disorder, and perfect for the environment. The OR requires something different than the ICU. And so it could include laboratory results, text reports, graphics, monitor screens, PACS images, video from the operating room, websites, histopathology from radiology, the screen of the intraoperative monitor, and three-dimensional reconstructions, etc. In an array of these views that was just right for the clinical problem that you were addressing. And so what this did was extract data from multiple non-integrated sources. It eliminated the hunting and gathering process of information that clinicians spend so much time, even today, doing. Integrates it into one application on one screen that's reformatted in a thoughtful way that mirrors the clinician's train of thought. In other words, for laboratory results, you see today's results, and they're highlighted according to which ones are abnormal. If you want to see something more about an abnormal result, you double-click on it and you see it trended for several days. So you see the trend. Is it getting worse or better is the key question there. And then it delivers it to doctors anywhere. Doctors are mobile, they work everywhere, from the ICU to the emergency department to the clinic to the operating room, and sometimes even at home. And so we developed an array of applications that allowed display on large flat panels in the ICU or the operating room, on desktop computers, tablets, handheld devices, fixed computers in the OR, etc. Even paper printouts for rounds for the residents. And that application is used now in our operating room all the time. And then we went back to the original idea, mobility, delivering information remotely, and took each window and adapted it to current cell phones, smartphones, which now have more power than the desktop computer you had 10 years ago, and allow us to see everything from the full PACS computing system to every monitor in the hospital on your handheld device, and virtually in real time. We developed ways of automating through this system the elements of the workflow that took so much time of the residents. How do you make a rounding list? Well, you can have the intern come in at 4 a.m., spend an hour compiling lab results and vital signs, or you can have this application printed out in, look at the bottom right, loaded in 4 seconds. So when you change a workflow that takes an intern an hour into one that requires 4 seconds, I'll tell you, you don't have to do much of a selling job on the interns. If they can sleep another hour, then they're going to start using it, whether you have teaching sessions or not. And after we developed that, we noticed all the servers crashing because every intern on surgery started using this with no instruction, no institutional announcement. One guy said to the next, "You got to see this. I sleep another hour every day using this." So if you could really identify a problem, this was one of the most effective, rapidly adopted components. You can see the number of people who were using our applications there in 2001 and 2002. And when we introduced that in late 2004, the next year, we had half of the medical staff at UCLA sign up to use the application. Again, with absolutely no announcement. It was entirely viral and grassroots. And that application developed. We ultimately got venture funding. We built a company. We sold it to other hospitals, implemented it, and just before the crash of the economy, we're lucky enough to have a large German company that was getting more and more into informatics, see the value of this, and acquire the company. So it was a successful exit for the founders and for the venture capitalists involved. So the lessons, the key lessons for you are these. You're in an institution like this, and in today's medicine, you're walking through a target-rich environment because innovation is elicited by problems, and we are surrounded by suboptimal processes and problems that cry out for a solution. And if you develop that innovator's mindset to address problems with a better solution, a new solution, a creative and unique solution, rather than just figuring out some convenient for the moment workaround, then you can come up with new developments. So one of the questions I saw asked that was sent in ahead of time was when should you patent and what should you patent? And I would say when you've come up with something original and you've done some research. Now you can either go onto the U.S. Patents website or you can now use Google Patents to figure out what's been patented that's similar to what you're thinking about quite easily. And if you find that there's some clever, unique solution that you've developed, then I strongly encourage you to just go to the Office of Intellectual Property's website and fill out an invention report. Because that starts the process. And then the professionals in that organization and the attorneys that they have in their group will take a careful look at your invention disclosure, your invention report, and decide if it's something that is truly unique and patentable. If it isn't, they'll let you know, and if it is, they'll help you work through the process. If you just look around for the opportunities to improve things around you, this is the best way to come up with